Does it look like we're recording now?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. Now, the amazing thing about the Song of Solomon, as we go through and take a look at this book, this is something that a lot of times at weddings that you can go through, because Solomon, the king and son of David, is talking about how much love he had. Now, the Song of Solomon is more wonderful than any other. It was composed by Solomon. Kiss me again, says the girl, for your love is sweeter than wine. How fragrant is your cologne, and how great is your name. No wonder all the young girls love you. Take me with you, let's run. The king has brought me into the palace. How happy we will be. Your love is better than wine. No wonder all the other girls love you. Now, I'm going to say something to all the ladies out there, and I don't care whether you're 2, you're 65, 95, 40, 30, age does not matter. Before you can really be loved, you need to be a bride of Christ. Now, I'm going to say this in a very unique fashion. Ladies, and I'm going to look right into the camera, I'm talking to you. Before you can be a great girlfriend, you need to love Jesus first. Now, there are lots of girls that don't have girlfriends, boyfriends, and they worry about this. And until you learn to love yourself, and until you allow God to love you for who you are, then you can truly be loved by someone else. Now, I know girls that have had some of the most amazing boyfriends in the world, and once that doesn't work out, they get worried. They get worried, and I'll never find another great guy. That's the farthest thing from the truth. Now, I know girls that are very self-conscious about how they look. And if y'all saw my sermon last week where I preached in a dress, hey, looks don't matter to me. Now, I'm going to say this. I know some of the most beautiful ladies in the world. And beauty comes from inside. Now, I will give you an example. Kaylee's mom, Debbie, I think she's one of the most beautiful ladies in the world. And all that comes from the inside. Does that make sense? Cindy Rosario. As a matter of fact, she used to be one of my nieces, grown up inside the church, and I've watched her dance, where she was basically dancing for Jesus, or we'd be doing youth group, and it's just beautiful. And the looks on the outside are amazing, but because of Jesus being on the inside, it just makes it that much more pretty. And now, Stan, I know you can see that in Sherry. I see that in Danny. And a lot of the things that Danny will do. And last night after I found out that Donnie passed away at Bufford, I just sat in my chair. It was sad.
There you go.
But not only that, Danny just sat there in her chair. Didn't have to say nothing, but the support is there. Guys, listen up to me. If you find a woman like that, that's the one you ought to marry.
My husband was like that.
Now, amazing that you would say that, because guys, We're looking for something unique. Now, we can get on Facebook or we can get on the internet all day and girls can send all kinds of pictures of themselves. And you got to be satisfied with who you are before anybody's going to be satisfied with you. And it don't make any difference whether you got on a nice dress or a bikini. I mean, you have to learn to be a lady because that's what a guy needs, is someone that's a lady. Now, you can pick up on a lot of that in Psalms 31, but as we approach what's going on in the Song of Solomon, Solomon says, if you don't know the most beautiful woman in the world, follow the trail of my flock to the shepherd's tent and let your sheep be. What a lovely filly you are. How lovely are your cheeks, how your hair falls down upon them, how stately your neck looks with a string of jewels. We shall make you golden earrings and silver beads. Now, my wife thinks I'm funny, but we get her jewelry. Now, how much do we see her wear jewelry? Not a lot, but, and I say we, because Jake has given her a couple of strings of pearls, 2 sets of pearl earrings, and some little diamond earrings. Now, this is why I do that. This is why I do that. Because the Bible says I'm supposed to. Now, I'll give you a really neat example of something. I was sitting over at Jennifer and Luke's, and I don't know why Danny and I were over there, but he brought her a new pair of boots. And I thought, oh wow, that's so cool. And you know, most of the time before I think, well, I'll just let Danny pick out her own. So she just get a pair of work boots and go on. Or she's got a pair of boots, and she'll wear them hot as it is in the summer. They go up to her knees. They're snake boots. Snake boots. She'll wear those. So last year for Christmas, now I'm not trying to be Luke, but last year for Christmas I said, I'm going to get my wife some really cool boots, and sometimes you'll see her wear some ostrich boots. I've got her a couple other pair of dress-up boots and stuff so she can look nice, but hey, I want her to look nice because that's what the Bible says. It's not that I'm going to say this. I see the way some other women dress, and I think, man, the Bible tells me, you know, I need my wife to look nice. I want to buy things for her so she can look nice. Now, this may sound odd for a pastor to say, but I went in one day, there's a store in Edmond, and I went in there to get her some undergarments. And there's an older lady in there, and she said, you know, when my husband was alive, he did that. And there were 5 other women in there that go, my husband would have set foot in this store. And I told the little lady earlier, and she said, you know something that makes it more special about this guy coming here? He's a pastor. He wants to be sure his wife looks nice and that she's well taken care of. And she said, I love that. Now, I'm not trying to be anything strange. I'm not trying to be anything weird. This book of the Bible tells me that I'm supposed to treat my wife like a queen. Now, there are some times that I really don't think I do a very good job, because sometimes she's got to be my backup plan. She's got to run here, she's got to run there, she's got to bring fuel to this group, got to be sure the other group's got baler twine, got to be sure that everybody's fed, got to be sure that Jerry got food, got to be sure that... And sometimes I feel bad because she should probably make more than I'm making and more than all the other hands are making, because she's really keeping everybody going. That, some of the things a wife does. Now, when you farm and you ranch, that's going to be even more of a task, because sometimes on heavy work days, maybe 5, 6, 8, 10 guys out there that you got to cook for. Now,
Be nice.
back when my dad was young, my grandpa and all his brothers farmed together, and a certain day of the week, you were at that farm for dinner time. So your wife didn't have to cook you lunch every day, but one day a week you cooked for all the rest of the brothers. They come in and load up their plates and eat. And I mean, when I'm talking about loading up their plates, they'd stack them up this high. Get in there and be like that. And what was left, the kids got. Now, I remember this even a few times before they split up. When I was about 3 and 4 years old. And at a certain person's house. Now, it gave some of them a break to spend time with their children. And that's something that a good husband and wife got to do as well. Now, we took Jake yesterday with us. We were going to go pick up some baler twine. And originally we were going to stop and get ice cream and Bronx, but we found a place in Stillwater called Noodles. They have Japanese noodles, they have Chinese noodles, they have Mediterranean noodles, they have Italian noodles, they have American noodles. And Jake got a big bowl of macaroni and cheese. He was in hog heaven. Now, we go in, we sit down, and there comes in a little man, and I didn't ask him his name. He looked lonely. And even though we were spending, even though we had started out to spend time with Jake starts talking to him. I mean, this seemed like one of those grandpa-y type figures. And I said to him later, I said, you kind of remind me of my grandpa. He said, well, I guess I could be. I'm old enough to be. And he was kind of surprised that total strangers would talk to him. But I had reposted a post one of my friends sent about going out to eat chicken, and a little black lady was sitting alone and asked for a table of one. And so my wife and I and Jake were just talking to the guy like he was a member of our family. Who knows if anyone else had ever said anything to him the rest of the day, other than the people that ordered his food. Who knows if anybody had said anything to him. And something about our church that I want everybody to understand is, we don't care who you are, we don't care what you look like, we don't care what your past is were. Anybody that's willing to work on it, come on down. You be the next contestant on The Price is Right. We accept everybody. Nobody's exempt. You have some needs, we don't care, we'll help you film to the best of our ability. Now, I wish the camera could see my son and Stan's son over there. They got baseball helmets on and they're playing with dump trucks, learning about Jesus, having a ball. That's what we do at our church. We have fun. We make our church fun so everybody can have it. Would any other church have dump trucks in the floor? Probably not. And if you're in one of them stuffy churches where you can't see your kids play and know how much they love the Lord, hey, that's not for me. Now, I'm pretty positive that if we were in Joel Osteen's church, there'd be some ladies back there going, take them kids out of here. Take them to the back, take them out the front, get them a spanking. Hey, I'm going to tell you what, my son knows the Bible. We read the Bible to him. Now, we've gone about a third of this year, and yesterday Danny found him another new Bible, and it's the whole entire Bible, but it's one you can read a day to day. I'll have to, when I get home, I'll take a picture of it and upload it and post it so you guys can see it. But it's written so the children can understand all the stories of the Bible. Now, Jake has had some children's Bibles before where they were just some of the stories. Hey, you can't live on some of the stories. You need to know it all and learn it in your heart. Now, the quicker Jake learns it, the better off we'll be. Now, Danny said something very important last night. She said at some point we're going to have to teach Jake stranger danger. But the fact that we go in Walmart, the fact that we go in any tractor dealership, the fact that we go in Atwoods or wherever we go, he's talking to people and being polite. Now, and we went to the bookstore last night, so we sat there for a little bit, and they had a section of the little rubber toys. While we were waiting on Danny to look through the books, he was rearranging them all. He was taking them off and playing with them. And there were some people going,
Yeah,
I'm like, just keep quiet, realize that we're not buying any of these, you're going to have to put them up here in a little bit. And so their little girl asked, while they're looking at my boy being mortified, can she go play with him too? They don't say anything to her, she gets up, walks around the other side. She got scolded beyond your wildest imagination. And something, and as I go on here, y'all are going to find some unique things. If you've never, and I'm going to look eye to eye, right straight into the camera. Gentlemen, if you have never shown your wife this kind of love before, you better get on the ball, because this is the book that will show you some things to do. Now, the girl said, my lover is an apple tree, the finest orchard as compared with any other youth. I am seated in the most desired shade. His fruit is lovely to eat. He brings me to the banquet hall, and everyone can see how much he loves me. Feed me with your apples, your raisins, your apples, until I am utterly lovesick. Now, I know for a lot of girls and a lot of young ladies, and even some women, when you're young, you go, I'm going to have this fairy tale Cinderella deal, and Prince Charming is going to come sweep me off my feet, charging in on a white horse. And hey, sometimes that white horse is a Dodge Charger. Sometimes that white horse is a black pickup. Sometimes and I feel sorry for you guys that drive Chevys, because it's harder for y'all to find some girls to ride with because you might have to walk. But, hey, I'm just teasing. I just throw that joke in there. Come on, guys, give me a break. But you gotta show them that you care for them. Now, one of my childhood friends, Charlotte, And if she sees this, she's gonna laugh. Her family and my family grew up together and were friends. And so one time I invited her to go out to a concert, and so I'm gonna go to Perry and pick her up. And we get headed away from her house. We're about to get on the highway. You know, you got to stop so somebody else can go down the other side, and he turned to go up the on-ramp. When I get ready to stop, the brakes went out on my truck.
Oh, no.
Completely out. Now, the smart thing would have been to have driven the rest of the way back to my house, get in the other truck and go. But heck, we just kept on going. I didn't say that much to her. I was in a standard, so I slowed her down and was able to stop everywhere we went. But the funny thing was, when I got up there to pick her up, and she had told me earlier, even though you know Dad, come to the door and knock. Now, I probably talked to Dean Klingman 1,000,000 times in my life. That don't count when you start to date their daughter. Hey, all of that stuff, you may as well put it in a bag and throw that crap out the window, because it's all gone. So, did you watch the OU football game today? And I'm like, Dean, I wouldn't watch the OU football game unless I thought they were going to lose. Ah! And I'm like, yeah, Lee, that was dumb. Ooh, that was dumb. And so
That's hard.
he goes, so what'd you think of such and such play? I'm like, I heard that play on the radio. That was one of the plays I did here. That was a good play for any team. And I'm like, but y'all got a new coach. And this would have been in 1983. So they didn't have one of their better coaches. This was one that they got after Barry Switzer.
Yeah, it had to have been 93.
Huh?
Barry Switzer was still there in 83.
83?
Yeah, he left like in 87. And then we
Okay, he left in 87.
then we got Gibbs or whatever his name was.
Okay. Well, this was in 83, so maybe Barry Switzer was still there. He was on one of his little losing seasons that year.
Yeah.
He was on one of his losing seasons that year. But the crazy thing is that as we talk about life, and as we talk about the Song of Solomon, you're going to have to talk to their dad. You'll have to talk to this girl's dad at some point. And what I want you guys to think about and understand is, you may not have to come to him on bended knees, but you need to ask the father to marry that daughter. I wasn't going to marry her, but he was like a 10,000 question guy. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Well, and I'm thinking to myself, we're going to go out like this one time to this concert. We're not going to be a huge dating career here. Just kind of friends and great lady. I mean, I showed you. She got a makeover done yesterday. Charlotte had her picture there on Facebook. She looked like she might have been somebody's model at almost 50 years old. Now, her daughter posted it up there. We weren't going to be married, but guys, you got to think about this. Even in today's world, if you want the Father to respect you, you better come in. You better be prepared to sit down and talk to him. With Dennis Sawyers, when I dated his daughter, he invited me over for chicken fried steak. Man, I would go eat chicken fried steak in Russia if I invited me. Hey, I will find a way to get there. And we got in there and he's like, I want you to try some of these peppers that I grew. some of them were real hot. Some of them were milder. I got a couple of hot ones. I never said a word, but sweat started pouring down my face like you had. Like you've been out hauling hay. And we talk, and we're still buddies. We're friends on Facebook. Occasionally I still send Chanel some messages. Now, what you got to understand is, girls, you got to look for a guy that will be your right hand and complete you. Now, look at some of these things. Read through the book of the Songs of Solomon so you can see what is up. Now, here's one in verse 5. Young woman of Jerusalem, O lover and beloved, eat and drink, and yes, drink deeply. They're not talking about getting drunk. They're talking about eat and drink and be happy. Now, I hear something a lot. Well, drinking was okay in the Bible. It's still okay now. Do y'all know why they drank wine in the Bible? Because the water was not fit to drink.
It was God's blood.
Now, they went for the longest time and nobody ever got drunk until some idiot figured out one day that they could spike it and spice it up a little bit, and then it was funny to watch somebody in that disaster. Now, one thing that really burns me about drinking, my grandpa was he would have called himself a couple of day drinker, but after he got older, it got the best of him. And some of his friends would go to places where you wouldn't think, and I'm not going to name no clubs, but they would let him get drunk and then they'd laugh at him. Man, you don't play that right. And so girls, I'm just going to say this because it's time to start going back to college. Watch yourselves. Watch your drinks. Only get your own drinks and don't let anybody else touch them because you can't trust no one. Now, we are in a world where we should be able to trust everybody and we should be able to look at somebody and go, hey, that's going to be my husband or that's going to be my wife and that's what we're going to work towards, and then we go out and get married. That don't always happen. Don't always work out that way. But if you read Song of Solomon and you're looking for somebody you want to be married to, you can figure out how. Bring in flowers. Don't hurt things at all either. Now, before I ever gave my wife any flowers, I sent her a picture of some.
We saw some.
Now, later that day, she sent me a picture of those flowers back after she got them.
Yeah. That didn't cut it.
Now, I'll go grocery shopping because I'm in town and it'll save her from having to make a trip back or having to take Jake with her always. And I don't get the most expensive flowers. They have some that are $4.99 and $5.99, and I'll get two colors that contrast, and then I'll bring them home and I'll put them in the vase for her. Because I know that makes her feel good. Now, I'm a nut, and so, you know, I try to do things that make her feel better about herself. Now, how many of you women are out there right now and going, man, I've had a baby, and it don't make any difference if he's 1 to 3. You're going, or maybe even 1 to 5 or 6, and you're going, I don't think my husband notices me anymore. I've put on a little bit of weight, or I'm not, well, I don't fit in my bikini like I used to. Or some of you girls could even go, well, I ain't wearing a bikini because I got a suspicious looking scar that I got from having a baby. That's out the door. I don't feel like I'm what my husband married. Hey, you want him to notice you again, cook his favorite supper and put it on the table. Find out what time he's going to be ready. Now, do you have to cook? No, heck, you can go bring it from the favorite restaurant. Nobody said anything. Guys and girls, men and women, the things that you do while you date are going to dictate the longevity of your marriage because you continue to do them. Now, you don't have to believe me, but I'm going to get up and get a book, and I'm going to walk it up towards the camera so you can see it.
Step back. There you go.
If you are having problems within your marriage, A Marriage After God's Own Heart by David Clark is an amazing read. You got to communicate. Sometimes my wife and I will talk at one another, and we know we got to communicate. There are times that I could tell her, honey, if I just walked in and there was an apple pie with vanilla ice cream, I'd be the happiest guy on earth. Now, I really, really like coconut cream. Bring me coconut cream pie and I'll probably